Well, shit, there goes the YouTube algorithm. Hey, y'all, welcome to the podcast. Or no, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, different show.
Get it right.
People get it wrong.
Get it right or pay the price.
Today is June 30th, 2024. We're talking about...
Happy birthday to the father of podcasts.
Yes, the Podfather.
The Podfather.
Yeah.
Happy birthday on June 30th.
Hope he's feeling all right today.
Little name day action.
Name day.
Today, 6/30/24. We're talking about Season 2, Episode 2, House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra the Cruel. So, with me, as always, is Luke on of House Blackman.
Hey, what's up? What do you know?
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a peach Bush Light. Tis the season, as they say.
It's the season. Glenn of House Dog.
What's up? What's going on? I am drinking a Samuel Adams Summer Ale.
Oh, tis the season.
It's a summer beer.
So, was that your summer beer for the year?
Could be.
Could be. More on that later.
I got Bailey.
Howdy, howdy.
Abby's joining us via satellites.
Hello.
What are you drinking?
I got a Michelob Ultra tonight.
Oh, nice. Health conscious. You know, it's healthy.
And, in honor of my St. Louis Cardinals, as always, and Taylor Swift being in Dublin, we got to be repping.
Those are the things that matter.
Wow.
Those are the things that matter.
And Bailey, what were you drinking?
I, too, am drinking a Bush Light Peach.
Yes. And I am Ben, aka Sly of House McLean, and I'm drinking a Narwhal's Crafted Mezcal Super Smoky Slushy. It's like a mock slushy margarita that's very, very smoky. It's very good.
Well,
All
cheers,
right.
everyone.
Cheers.
Glad to be back. And thanks for being in the chat. We appreciate you being here, and hopefully you're having a fun Sunday evening leading up to the next episode as well.
Yes, and we will be done before that starts.
We will
Snappy.
do our best, because I'm not missing the premiere.
No. All right. This show and all our shows at podcastthat.com are produced with this love and support of our wonderful Imaginary Legion patrons. Learn more about our reward tiers at patreon.com/stayimaginary. So tonight's episode was an hour and 9 minutes long. It first aired on June 23rd, 2024, directed by Claire Kilner and written by Sarah Hess. Glenn, how about that episode description?
Yeah, absolutely. As Otto schemes to turn the public against her, Rhaenyra questions Daemon's loyalty. Meanwhile, Sir Christian Cole concocts a misguided plan for revenge.
I hope that's the last time he gets called Kristen Cole on this show. It just needs to be different every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Fuck that guy.
we get one Christian.
One per episode, I think. That's it.
Season.
Per season. Oh, we're way over.
All right. And the previously on...
Previously on, the Blacks look to gain support from the North. The aftermath of Luke's death has some mourning the loss and others plotting the next move. Rhaenyra asks for Aemon's head. Daemon summons a team of a bloodthirsty guard, a cheesy rat catcher, and a good boy to retrieve said head. The team moves to Plan B with Aemon is nowhere to be found. The boy has perished.
All right, getting into the episode. The credits were the exact same. I think still Matt Smith as lead actor name.
Yeah, number one difference was just who the writer and director of the episode were.
Okay.
I think that was the
I
only
did
thing that I
skip
noticed.
this one. I was like,
So you don't even know.
I don't.
You're just guessing.
I only see the Matt Smith thing, and then I'm like, okay, skip.
Oh, no difference.
Yeah.
What you didn't see is they gave everything away this time.
All right, Glenn, what's our first scene there?
There has been a murder. Guards and Poes are ushering the masses out of the castle.
Those darn pose.
Dire Poe. She was. Oh man,
Oh, she
right
obliterated the studio.
The whole studio just had to be reworked in the last minute and a half leading up to going live because Dire Poe decided to
Walk
do
through?
Dire Poe things.
Yeah.
So I'll kick it off. My note is it's never too late to clock in. Just basically the guards, like there's nobody to be found whenever the boy got murdered or whatever, and then now all of a sudden there's directing people and yelling at everybody and.
My only thought on it was, did anybody else notice the guy explode into dust? He got fucking dusted.
So we
Sort
saw your
of.
comment.
Okay,
As
'cause
we
we
were,
saw
like,
your note. We were
watching.
like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
He
I
just
had
had
to
a
go
bucket
back
of
and watch
ash.
for it.
Oh, is that what it was?
He was carrying a bucket of ash.
and fell over.
And he fell over, and it just poofed. And it was funny because he was being chased by a guard. And it was just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
And
like
he's
Well, and then it scene cuts to Aegon destroyed to our
yeah,
next scene
ruining
here.
the town.
If you want to describe that, Glenn.
The next one. Okay.
Yeah.
Aegon destroys a city replica as Aemon finds a clue.
Yeah. And so, like, it transitioned right from that to there. I'm like, oh, that is a smart cut. Like, it's like this guy poofed into dust and Aegon's smashing this one thing. And I'm like,
I would have had such a hard time explaining what had actually happened if that was true. Like, this guy just disappeared.
There's, like, no
it's like
witches.
Melisandre level.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
like, I honestly thought it was just like a weird, like, camera trick thing, like, kind of transitional that it just happened so fast that I just didn't catch it. I didn't know it was bucket mash. I was like, that's funny as hell. But my note for the Aegon part is on the after scenes, the House the Dragon, or the show the Dragon built or whatever, they had one chance to get that right. It was a full replica of the original model that they had, but they're like, just do it right. Just get it. And he did. He
We're
went
not
to
rebuilding
fucking
this
town
thing.
on it. And just, nailed the shit. And I thought it was a killer scene. Like, with him, you just see the grief and everything.
Yeah, I think like it kind of details hard work and determination from one king can be completely ruined by the next one.
I thought it was very I liked I saw your note seeing that. I was like, oh, you're exactly what I feel
right
like.
on.
No, I really mean that, of just kind of a classic history thing of like, well, this one king does nothing for all these years, but you don't see all the quiet building and peacetime that he did. That's not exciting, right? No one talks about that.
Yeah.
And the next guy comes in and is like, I want to do things different. It's like, why fuck it up, dude? Like, it's working, and he's choosing violence.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but sometimes when someone comes in this case, they feel like, well, it might not be broke, but it could be different.
It will be broke.
You're
Don't like
breaking
how
it.
is.
Abby, your thoughts on these first two quick scenes?
Well, we talking about when Aemon goes in and finds a little coin?
Yes,
kind
that's
of.
also in that one as well.
Okay, so the first scene, I just thought it's really funny. It's like when the rancher gets mad at his wife. They've had a huge fight, and then they got a cattle drive anyways, so he's just extra rough with all the cattle.
Fuck you, cow.
Like, dang, like, you don't gotta be that rude. You guys messed up, and now we're at fault. Like, we gotta walk faster, be prodded in our back. Annoying. And then I don't have anything till the coin comes up, till Aemon.
I'll bring it up.
Oh, so I just want to know how one walks into the room, has a feeling, maybe I should double check, turns around, does a scan, and is like, you know what? There's absolutely something underneath this coffee table. Like, he's not searching. He just goes directly to the spot.
Well, remember, just to point this out, Aemon and Cole had been conspiring on that table using coins, and that's what drew Aemon's attention, was because Blood had stolen the coins from that table. So that's why he looked over there and was like, that's odd. My coins are gone.
Where's my coins?
I will agree, but he seemed like he reached so far under that table to get
Like, he
it.
didn't even use his eyeballs to, like, get down and
No,
look.
he just
He's only got one
instinctively.
eye.
Well, I was just saying, there's only one to use.
Hey, well, his Roomba would have found it.
Just drags it across.
The royal Roomba.
And we called it out as a sun spear coin, right?
I don't think so.
It looked like
It looks
It was a dragon.
It looked like a sun spear to me, but I also didn't zoom in or do any other research. It looked Dornish to me. From when he's holding it up on the back, it looks like it could be a sun. Again, I never looked closer than being in the room watching.
It could have been, but it looked like a golden dragon to me, just straight up.
It could have been one of those quarters with the states on it and all that.
So if that is the case, then what's the significance? What's it matter if it's a golden dragon? Who cares? That means nothing.
Yeah.
If it's Dornish, that means something.
True.
I'm just asking because I just kind of maybe assumed and jumped in. Didn't look into anything. Or...
I think it was because my feeling is because he stole the coins off the table. Those were not golden dragons off the table.
Sure.
And now
So if one was there, there's clearly someone was paid to do that.
I mean, like, well, he may have dropped one while he was.
And I think that's what happened. Is he was just grabbing, snatch and grab, and one of them fell on the ground. Didn't really have time to.
Yeah.
Let's
Account for
take everything out.
I also feel like that's highly uncommon that this little pouch is going to lose a coin. Like, it's just impractical to me, to where I feel like it needs to be more subterfuge than what it feels like it probably is. Anyway.
Fair. It might be one to go back and.
Maybe if we
examine.
watched Blood and Cheese, we would see him drop a coin.
It's true.
I don't know.
It's true.
We weren't paying attention.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to miss Blood.
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
Alright. Anybody got anything else for those first two?
Nope.
Glenn?
Next, Otto attempts to comfort Alicent. Aegon demands answers from the council to where Larys has a lead. They discuss funeral arrangements. Helena is given the scoop.
I heard you say Ottawa. It just made me laugh. Sorry. Ottawa. Temps. So yeah, mine's a little bit later. Luke, what do you got for...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of interesting that Alicent still has this over faith thing that keeps coming up, where she's like, the gods are cursing me for basically sleeping around with Cole in her mind, guilty conscience sort of thing. And Otto, as far as we know, doesn't know anything about that, right? But like, the gods don't give a shit about you, Alicent. Like, this is just war, and I just don't think it's anything for her to be worried about. But it's funny that like her take is built in that she has guilt over infidelity or helping Cole break his. The whole thing is stupid and complicated, but I feel like her guilt is kind of the cherry on top of you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, because I wanted to like Alicent, but she's kind of worthless.
Yeah. I would say, like, my note, so Ottawa says, some good will come of this. And, like, I just hate when people say that and just try to justify, the kid died.
Yeah.
And
everything happens for a reason.
You're saying, oh, this is a good thing?
Yeah.
Don't let a crisis go to waste.
Exactly.
I feel like this episode has made me very frustrated because I really love Otto a lot.
We know, Ab. We know.
When everybody's like, oh, he's so like Tywin, and I'm like, he's so soft, he's so what? Here it is, guys. Here it is. Here's like the actual representation of what you've been waiting for me to see. Love it. I love it. Way to go, Otto. Because it sucks anyways. Might as well exploit everybody.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I mean, it's Hail Mary time.
Yeah.
Almost, right?
I mean, you have to make the best move politically, unfortunately, and that's what he does, even though it's not very personal, and you can't have your personal feelings.
Just like in racing, sometimes you just gotta full send.
Yeah.
You just gotta go for it. And if it works, it works. If not, you're gonna get Max Verstappen off the track.
I mean, Nico Horner gets put into the wall. You're not slowing down to check on him. Keep on, take advantage.
Keep trucking.
God, Bailey.
I mean, outside of Otto just being very politically astute to what's needed in this situation, I think that he knows where they need to move forward in order to solidify their claim.
Yeah. And I give credit to Crisco Cole. He didn't lie when the king said, "Where were you?" both
A bed.
I was in bed.
I was a bed.
I was in your mama's bed.
So full credit, he did not lie.
That motherfucker.
I also feel exceptionally bad for Helena, though.
Yeah.
And the king gets, well, we're gonna not do that to him, but here, you go be out there to have everybody look at you grieving. But we'll protect the king.
Yeah, she doesn't really have to say.
Otto, as it comes up later, or he may even calls him on this scene and call him weak. He's like, I don't want that to be seen as more weak.
Right.
You are seen as weak.
Yeah.
That was my other note.
Yeah.
I fucking loved that time.
Yep.
I loved when Otto just said, "You're past the point of looking weak. You've not done what you needed to."
Save him
a little
from
whippersnapper.
More weak
Yeah.
in those
Pitiful
eyes.
pups. Insolent pup.
Her and Allison are talking. What does she say?
Something in words.
We don't want them closer or something. That's where it
Yeah,
starts.
she
in
doesn't
notes
want
about-
the people to feel closer to her.
Yeah, I don't want them to feel closer. And Allison says, we have to pretend. And Helena just goes, why? Because she's actually just grieving her son. That's all she wants to do. I don't want to be put on display.
And she feels so violated. Her most private space of safety has just been completely broken apart. Hey, let's go walk through the city streets. She's got to be pretty damn paranoid right now of what just happened and grief, on top. It's crazy.
Let everybody look at you be sad and broken. Let's let everybody see. Let's use you as
Gertie,
a
that's
pawn in
tradition, dog. Come on.
hey, that's what a funeral is. That is
Yeah.
what a funeral is. I know it well.
What were your thoughts on Aegon saying, "I don't want my little son's body dragged through the streets"? I mean, he's kind of in an emotional response as well, right?
Right.
And I feel like he was incredibly interesting in that scene of just kind of seeing a side we don't really get from him much.
Yeah, I don't think he won a parade or anything, is what I took from it. It just seems like unnecessary.
But I do think Otto's right. This is kind of we can get more to the funeral as we go, but whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, let's maybe keep going and decide that. But it's interesting to see how different takes popped up really quickly, and these are kind of the unfortunate, realistic conversations you have to have when it comes to a royal funeral. In a way.
Yeah, things move quickly.
I was going to mention though too. We got Laris kind of comes in with
Clubbing.
a lead club sandwich. I don't know. I think eventually we'll get some kind of because he just seems like he has that all kind of very quickly. Got the guard has been caught.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, and at the right time, he
kind of always got his thumb on the pulse of what's going on, almost a little too much.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, Blood did not make it hard. He literally was leaving the gate with the kid's head in a bag.
Well, he's got to deliver it to Rhaenyra.
True, but
How quickly did they send the message to the gates of hey,
Probably.
stop everyone from coming out?
I mean, your riders can move pretty quick.
From the books. That happens 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
So they don't really talk about it in the show, but it feels very much more like the next afternoon that they're doing this, as opposed to there's a little more time to where the word's
Also-
gotten
Kinda
out.
lay
Yeah,
low.
all the gates were locked for 3
We need
days.
to give it up to the Silent Sister and their stitch job
Yeah.
because it didn't pop off when they were stuck in the pothole. Well done.
Hey, that's fair. That's pretty fair.
I mean, I don't know if it was a whip stitch or what, but they got that thing on because that was some rough movement, and I appreciate good, solid.
I mean, did you see the size of those stitches, though? They were fucking 24 gauge or whatever. It's
Yeah, that is actually our next scene here.
Yeah. Let's jump to that.
Just jump right to it.
Since
Let's,
Abby jumped the gun.
Oh, sorry. Look, I switched my notes. I switched to the next one. Damn it, I'm sorry.
All right, so we got the funeral procession rides through the streets as guards shout, "Behold the works of Rhaenyra Targaryen."
And the Silent Sisters did really good stitching.
Oh, Abby, what an original thought.
God, man,
I just think it's really convenient that they already had the perfectly sized wagon to put his body on. up until, like, everything about it was the right dimensions. I don't know.
Well, you just go to the wagon funerary store, and they've got several options. He was a medium small.
They've got your toddler size, they've got your preteen size.
Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I think, kind of getting back to like whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, I think it's another one of those big signs of legitimacy for the royal side too. Like Otto said last scene, we're honoring him by burning him as a Targaryen prince in the dragon pit. That is not something that Lucerys can get.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen as a sign of Rhaenyra's true claim. It's no, we can do that because we have the seat, we have the fiefdom of power, and like he's right. He's 100% right, and I appreciated him coming through and like kind of saying the hard thing. And unfortunately, the emotions aren't what matter here. You got to kind of put those aside and get this job done. And it doesn't go well overall, but it happens. And I think that's just a statement to the realm of, hey, this is another tick against Rhaenyra's claim, in my opinion.
Right. That's to kind of piggyback off that. Like, I think
I wish you would.
I think it's a good move by the Greens to play this narrative game to kind of throw Rhaenyra under the bus. Not saying that she was 100% like guilty of the crime, because she
easier
really
to say that she is,
right?
Yeah.
But
No one to dispute it.
It's just the perfect person, because then you're going to get the masses against her.
Exactly. My only note really for the section was, again, going to the after show, the behind the scenes. The way they shot it, especially the up closes of Helena and Allison, they actually did it, I think she said, in like 30 frames a second, 30 FPS. So every time you saw their faces,
it was double time.
It was double timed and just more expressive and more emotional, and like the camera kept getting like an inch closer and an inch closer and an inch closer, like it at certain parts, like where they
was
were
that from the
flowers.
building the House of the Dragon
Yeah.
or whatever. I still haven't watched any of it.
I recommend
I wanted to this afternoon, but we got busy making adjustments for Abby to not be here in studio.
Not my fault.
I know.
Wasn't my fault.
It's the birthday boys that we talked about earlier's fault, for the record.
Hey, you can have COVID on your birthday.
You can have COVID on your birthday.
It's just interesting to see those kind of camera angles, and it does bring you, like, it does emotionally tug on you when you get that dynamic shown to you, that close, that slow, and I'm very much appreciative of good direction like that. So, all right.
Next, we got Lair speaks with a captured familiar guard. Aegon arrives to seek justice. I would say, yeah, blood, he squeals pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, he barely had to say anything. I think he had some tools, was the only thing he had, some torture tools.
Yeah.
But he kind of spilled the beans pretty quick.
Whoa. I did it. Damon. That's the dude.
Yep.
And my accomplice was a rat catcher. I don't know his name.
I was paid this much money. This is how we did it. There was a dog.
Screw with that.
It was a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
At least they didn't kill all the dogs.
It's true.
And, yeah, I mean, I love how Clubby comes out and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you." Not the king.
Can't speak for him.
Can't speak for him.
Yeah, and completely justified. Aegon just completely justified in that sense of it's. This is not one of those times where it's like, oh, he's a bad guy, or nope. It's
He's the sacrificial ham.
yeah, he was the sacrificial ham.
Always
It
was.
was so satisfying.
Yeah.
That swing. Oh,
Right on the
I
money.
loved it.
You look like you want to do that. You look like you're geared up to go do that to somebody.
No, not tonight. I'm good. But
Okay.
there are times in life that I'm like, man, I wish you would give that dad alone in a room with that man. Or
Oh,
if somebody did that to my kid, I just want to be alone in a room with them. Like that.
There's a great
So satisfying. Like that swift.
You should look up "Dad in an Airport."
Okay.
There's a great, very satisfying video of that one. Anyway, I think we're done for King's Landing for a couple scenes.
Okay,
here.
yeah, let's move on. So we're going to go to Dragonstone. And in this scene, we got Rhaenyra is given the news of young Jaehaerys' death, with her being blamed.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's completely fair to question her. Like, as I don't know who the lord that brought it up to her was, but he's like, are you sure he didn't? Because he kind of did say, I want Aemon Targaryen. It's not a far-fetched to think. Maybe it said, yeah, do whatever.
Right. It's like Christmas Vacation when he is pissed off at the boss for not giving him a Christmas bonus.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's completely justified for them to say, "You sure?"
It's at least worth the question.
It's worth the question. Yeah.
Which question again? Specifically, who questioning who?
It was one of the lords questioning Rhaenyra.
That if to see if she did it,
if she had ordered it or something like that. Because he even says, you'd been justified, and she's like, how dare you? It's like,
after I just lost my son.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I would do that to Helena.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you met her?
Yeah. Glenn?
Yeah, I think Daemon just has this smirk on his face, and I don't think he expected her to react the way is. I think he thought everything would have been fine.
Look,
I think.
He came back with the bird in his mouth. Look, Mo.
And then the tables turn on him, and he's like, kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You mean you're not?
Abby, any thoughts on that?
No, because I've been in the chat and I don't even know what you're talking about. Sorry, can't do two things at once. What are we talking about?
Rhaenyra is given the news of the kid's death,
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
questioned about
So
it.
when they panned to Damon, I just want that voiceover of, it was at that moment that he knew he fucked up.
Kinda.
We'll come back to my thoughts.
He just,
Or is that for the next? Okay.
It's coming up.
All right. Then
It'll make more sense later.
Yeah. Then unless Bailey got anything. Moving on. All
Moving
right.
on. Rhaenyra and Daemon partake in a heated discussion of the matter at hand and loyalties.
So the question to me is, everyone on the panel, do you believe, Daemon, that he did not, because we only saw the breakaway from the scene of, and what if we can't find Prince Aemon? And it cuts away. We don't know what that answer is. We hear what Blood and Cheese say when they're up looking. Glendog, do you believe Daemon when he said, I didn't order more than Aemon's death? Or do you think he said, or any of the sons would do? Or something in that vein?
Yeah, I would say, there was another game plan, I think.
So you think he option B'd of, find something else instead?
We'll find something else that would...
Bring me ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Bailey?
I believe Damon. I don't know. I just get the feeling that he wouldn't lie to Rhaenyra about this.
Bench?
He wants war. What was the title of last episode? A son for a son.
Son, sure.
They did not go with Blood Cheese and say, that they're not that smart to come up with, that thought of, a son's a son, son for a son.
Really? Eye for an eye isn't one of the most common, you took this from me, it's okay.
But Damon said that though when he met with them to give them the job.
Yes, and I think they took it, and because they even specifically said, well, if we can't find Aemon, that cuts away.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not, because all they were worried about is finding where the royals live. They very little said, where does Aemon live? Where's Aemon's room? Where do the royals live? And so they didn't care. So they had their target. They had a target, didn't care who it was.
Abby, what are your thoughts?
oh, I stand with Rhaenyra.
So you think Damon fully... Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're never going to know because he's never, ever going to tell the truth. Damon is going to do what's good for Damon to get what he wants done, whether that's bending you to his will or manipulating, lying, whatever. We won't know. We don't know.
Man, I guess we watch this show a little differently in this household. I believe Damon. I believe he didn't say... I mean, he may have left it vague and let them kind of make a choice.
I don't think he explicitly said, just bring me any Targaryen.
I think he's
leaving out.
He's leaving his options to be where he's not lying to Rhaenyra at all. Yeah. He might be omitting information to other people. I personally don't think he went and said, or any of the kids, to give them an actual direction of
I think,
kill somebody.
What if we can't find him? And I think he probably says something like, then figure it out.
Or maybe he just
Right.
shrugs.
And puts it on them. And I'm not against that.
It could.
But it's also, in his mind, which is very, I'm going to say white and black at times. It's very much, well, my hands are clean. And I believe he believes that. It's kind of
thinking.
But
Yes.
it's a lot like Alicent. It's delusional thinking. You know what's going to happen, but you're not the one making the call.
And the difference is, though, like I said, he wants war. He wants...
Don't we all? That's why we're
to a
watching.
point, but he's already ready to roll over Harrenhal to bring everybody together. He's the one that wants to get all the dragons together. He's the one that wants to go and attack King's Landing. He wants war, but he knows Rhaenyra is too reserved to really pull the trigger, so they need to fire the second shot now, or the Greens have to fire their second shot for Rhaenyra to finally want to strike back whole, and he knows that, so he's like, fuck it, any son will do. That's where my brain is.
Sure,
You know,
I don't.
Oh no, I don't.
We don't know. I just
Yeah.
meant as it colors the rest of this conversation for where we're going. I feel like we should understand where we're at, just because then we see them start to bicker, and you kind of are forced to choose a side a little bit in this, right? Because this is kind of a.
Let's just guess now whose sides everybody's on.
Well, I would add, like, I just think that he didn't say, hey, let's call off the dogs. You can't find Aemon, then, no deal. I think there was clearly something that, like, and maybe they were just too embarrassed not to, have anything.
Yeah, maybe
And
they just want
come
to
back to
bring the
Daemon and be
result
like-
for the second half of payment. Like, full gotcha consolation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's open-ended, obviously, intentionally to make this conversation happen.
And so
We're being played by the showrunner.
To your point, Luke, of what side am I on? I'm actually still on his side. I believe, yes, he said, he didn't specifically say a head for head or whatever, but he didn't care. He's good with it. And it's the right call. In my opinion, it's the right
I knew
call.
I knew you were going to back his decision.
Yes.
It's more of, do you believe he's being truthful?
No,
was the question. It's a very different conversation.
He's not being truthful, but I do
yes.
back his decision. I also understand Rhaenyra's her reaction. I actually love her in this scene. It's seeing the truth kind of come out and her realization, like, oh, you're a piece of shit. I knew you were a piece of shit, but I thought I could change him. I can fix him.
No, I thought it was you're
She
a
was
piece of
specifically
shit,
said-
but not me. You're a piece of shit, but to everybody but me. They have a special thing. They have a special bond. It's like how I took it. Not saying you're wrong, but I feel like that's more. Yes, he's that way with others, but not me.
Yeah, I just
who are
had
just regular brothers.
the feeling of I knew what you were. I could fix
It's
it.
Spanish
and I
Armada,
can't.
giant tomato
I
monster.
tried
It's also in the
to fix
film.
you.
Right.
I would add to this, so talking about this Daemon stuff, I just believe he can be selfish and reckless at times. And that's, it's the same kind of relationship, non-sexual relationship that Daemon has with Viser, with Viz as Rhaenyra, as,
There's
they
absolutely
can't trust him.
Yeah, there's absolutely a commonality there, and I also, because that's a conversation that specifically comes up here. They're talking about that relationship that Daemon had with Viserys and how Rhaenyra tried to do similar, but she says that Viserys can't trust him, and I feel like she's carrying her own baggage into that conversation. There's a million examples where, yes, Viserys chose to not trust or would take him out of a situation, but he always kept coming back to Daemon. He always kept wanting Daemon to be the guy by his side. And I agree, there's a lack of trust there, but there's also, he wanted to make it work into where, maybe it's called blind sibling faith or whatever, but
He wants to believe in him.
he wants to believe in
He
him.
believes in his potential, not who he is.
Absolutely believes in his potential, and he brings so much to the table. And I don't know, I just don't think Daemon is as villainous as they are very much forcing him to look, because he fits the bill. Everything points to he's trying to take her out and make sure he's the king remaining, but I don't know, she's the only person that's ever stood up to him that's not Viserys that he actually looked at as an equal, and I don't think he would throw that away. I don't think he would throw that away for this one move. That's, I guess, where my take is coming
Damon's not a wild card here. This is exactly what we would expect from Damon. He's doing the textbook, open it up, okay, Rhaenyra's son was killed. What does Damon do?
He's kind of been going down literally the game plan of like, here's what a rebellion looks like.
Yep, step
Rebellion.
1, your child gets killed. Okay, step 2. I think Damon needs to pick some more trustworthy criminals in the future, so that maybe they don't potentially misinterpret.
Yeah, it's the
his
criminal's
orders.
fault.
Yep, you just gotta pick better criminals.
We have the best criminals.
We have the smartest criminals.
We have the best, the brightest.
They're incredible.
Are well trained and
I do think it's interesting at the very end of this conversation, this spat between them. There's a couple shoves and kind of it gets a little physical, right? This is the rage sex that we wanted. We wanted them to just knock this out and be like,
Just
yep,
settle their differences.
and more on that later.
In on that one because you're exactly right. Thank
This
you.
is the rage sex that we wanted.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
that we deserve.
This is what we deserved.
Yeah, I also think Rhaenyra went into this conversation having no intention of listening to what Damon says.
Very little
She
conversation.
talks over him, cuts him off over and over. She didn't even give him a chance.
I think that's where my frustration comes, because I didn't like how she kind of railroaded him in this. She never even gave him a chance to even say. She just kind of said, I don't trust you. Your dad, my dad fucking hated not being able to trust you. Like, she just kind of goes fucking diesel train on him immediately.
I would never be able to trust you.
And
What
that probably
is that
colors my
called?
take on trusting him a little bit more in this.
What is it called when like you get there's like a narcissist and they pick at you 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 and then put on display
Pikachu.
your response. Because
Gaslighting.
That's what I
Gaslighting,
feel.
yeah.
No.
I mean, that's
It's
what that felt
different
like.
than
but-
that.
Oh, projecting.
No,
Yeah.
it's different that so like it's somebody who is I'll go on TikTok, don't worry, I'll get you the term. But that was a joke. You can laugh.
We're chuckling, don't worry.
Thanks. But it's like rage baiting. Like they
Yeah.
pick and they pick and they pick. And not that that's what Damon was doing, but I think Rhaenyra, because of who he has been in the past and who all this like things tumbling down on her, we see her turning into like the aggressor right here because she's like, I'm not even gonna let you speak because I can't, like that's how I took it more than. But you are right, she is not gonna hear it from him because she cannot let him get a word in because she knows he has a way.
Yeah, I mean, his charisma is going to trump hers
Yeah.
in a head-to-head, and she's afraid of that. So it's a defense mechanism on her part to not even let him get his feet under him, because then he's strong, right? I mean, keeping him off balance is her strength in this moment.
But honestly, though, I don't think she's entirely wrong in everything she's saying about, especially what Viserys had thought about him and, mistrusted him and everything to those points. Where Daemon is that spurned little brother where he's like, I was better, I was stronger, I was this. And she's like, no.
And he is right.
My throne.
Depending on,
My-
what attributes you're looking for,
It's the same Aemond versus Aegon conversation right now, in a way, in a very different way. Aegon's very different than Viserys.
Yeah, but it's at the same point of, Viserys, it's one of those, so he didn't trust that Daemon wouldn't, be a nut job, because he couldn't trust him. And so her calling that out, you could tell she threw that one out. That was the spirit of the heart. That's that, you did, like that was the one thing that she had in her back pocket. She's been waiting. She's like, I'm going to pull this out, and when the time is right, and just wham.
And that's such bad relationship
Oh, trust me,
advice.
I agree.
Hey, I'm holding this bullet of like a dagger to just like, hey, when he pisses me off enough, Glenn, remember that one time? Yeah, fuck you.
I do remember that. I do remember that time.
Yeah, and fuck you for that.
Like,
I think she's just been watching TikToks and she's like, look, you've been using weaponized incompetence against me. And
Weaponized
you also are
incompetence.
gaslighting me and I just won't have it. I have value with or with no, that's what I think's happening.
Yeah.
She's been scrolling and I like
Okay.
it. Get it,
Damn.
girl.
On TikTok.
Damn.
all right. Anything else for this confrontation?
Not today.
Not
I'm
today.
sure we'll come back to this,
No, I'm
though.
sure.
I feel like this is one of those pinnacle
Could be.
pieces that a splinter happens and we get a lot more as it moves forward.
All right, next scene, we have Bela is given orders. Daemon flies out of Dragonstone. So I got 2 questions I want to ask Luke real quick. Where are you going?
How do I mute you? Here you go. No, hey, no DMB in this house. Just take it off the table.
Like a doggy on a chain.
You know, ants, antenna waving, red and black. They all do it the same. They all do it the same way.
So with that, so that's where Rhaenyra also tells Baela to go scout King's Landing from afar. So it's like that's an interesting call because she's Luke's, his betrothed. Luke died. Yeah, you're right. Jace's. Yeah, sorry, Jace's. So she's Jace. So it's interesting to send her off on her own to do that. When what just happened to Luke.
And she's Daemon's daughter
she's
with.
Daemon's daughter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot her name.
Baela.
Baela's
The daughter, but
Yeah.
the mom.
who's the mom?
Rhaenyra.
No.
Nope.
Lenora.
Lenora. Sorry.
Lena. We did this all last season. She made fun of us so much. You guys always called her Lenora. Lenore.
That's where it's stuck in.
It's so ingrained because she goes, we were rewatching season 1. I'm like, oh, there's Lenora. She goes, she was never Lenora. I'm like, oh.
That's funny.
Because it's Lenore and Lena.
That's
right.
Yeah, Lenore.
All right. See, we're experts around here, folks. But I know it's Maylor. So I know that.
I got a question real quick about that. Like, it seems like, because didn't she, like, was it last episode or maybe this episode where Jace wanted to kind of do something and she's like, no, you can't.
That was this episode. He says, I'm going to take my dragon out and patrol King's Landing. That was at the council before when she finds out about Jaehaerys being killed.
Okay.
Like, that's almost like the retribution that he offers up. I'm going to take my dragon out and go patrol King's Landing. And she basically gives that job to Baela. Two scenes later.
Okay. And so that makes more sense to not then put her own son at risk for the risk.
Yeah, you're next in line for the throne. You can't go out.
She's expendable.
Yeah.
And in Rhaenyra's mind. I mean,
saying
that for Glenn.
That might be true.
Comparatively to Jace?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get that. But I also think it has to do with, like, trust. Like, what I got from that was, I can trust you to say high up in the clouds. You are not going to be emotional and make a decision, a unilateral decision for me.
Right.
Here are my orders, because you're not going to go take retribution on my behest when I'm telling you, go patrol, and all I want you to do is patrol.
I love how
not be seen.
I love how this show basically takes the women are so overly emotional thing and basically like says, nope, it's the guys that won't be able to do this because they're
I got about 17 notes for the next 7 scenes that say, God, they're so emotional.
Well, then I won't mansplain it anymore. No, we can just listen to you the rest of the episode.
That is what I got from it. Not that she was saying you're expended, and maybe that is. Maybe she is looking out for Jace more than Baela, but I just took it as respect. Like, you are capable. You're a grown-ass woman, and when I tell you to do something, that's what you're going to do. All I want is just recon. Don't be seen. Can you do that for me?
Can you please, do nothing else?
You respect me enough to just do what I ask of you. Nothing more.
You're like, good. Heard. I do have a question. Is Daemon and Baela's relationship like?
Not much. Early on last season, we saw them spend more time together in the Free Cities.
Right.
And he spent more time with her than her younger sister.
That's my question right there. Because as she walks into this meeting, is that wrong? But as she walks into this meeting, she's like, "Hey, Dad," and he's just like, "Fuck off."
Daddy.
Again, men are so emotional.
Conversation with Rhaenyra.
I think he's just in not a good space after his wife just said, "Hey, fuck you," like to the core of your being. Like that's a hard one to take.
But I think
it's his kid. Not even like, "Hey, kid, talk to you soon." Nothing like.
I don't think he's
so emotional.
He doesn't really have a good relationship with any of his kids. I never see him like hold the babies or anything like that, or you barely even see the babies.
I mean, if he was gonna run for king, he should be out there kissing babies,
signing babies' heads,
signing babies' heads, signing their biceps.
Sign a baby.
Sign a baby.
Baby.
That's a Jason Kelsey quote. Sorry.
Oh dear.
All right.
Now I feel greasy.
Greasy. Are we moving on?
I think so.
I think we can move on.
So we got the next location. We got King's Landing and Dragonstone.
Ooh.
King and Queen share a look. Columbine Cole looks on as servants clean the crime scene. Rhaenyra plays with her children.
I think Helena looks really unsupported here. Like, after the parade didn't go so well, the procession, like, there's nobody else walking with her. Like, her mom's not with her. There's not even a Kingsguard with her, even after. Like, that was a conversation already, or is that coming up? That might be
Both.
coming up.
It was both.
It's happened both. But, like, yeah, she's not protected with
I
literally...
thought there were like 2 people walking behind her.
She had some
There was
handmaids with
nothing.
her.
Like
In this
attendants.
scene?
Yeah.
There were
There's
attendants
nothing.
coming up behind
It's
her.
literally my note. There's nothing.
No,
He has
she's
a whole
completely
team.
by herself on the stairs. This is the
She's
walk
by
past
herself.
stairs, right?
Right. I thought there were
I
like
didn't
2
see
people
anybody.
behind her
Right
following.
behind.
There were 2 people behind him. He had Kingsguard,
Right,
and there I
saw
didn't
them as
see
they were coming
anybody.
on. I'm pretty sure there were 2
I-
people.
like, I
She turned
personally
the
didn't
corner
see
and
it.
I thought there was...
Like, he leaves, and then she kind of keeps walking, and we see them enter into street.
Well, in my head canon, there was nobody with her,
I mean,
and that's
she
sad.
I'm
definitely
with you,
looks
Luke.
like
That's
she's
what
just
I
looking
saw.
for the connection. She just wants to commiserate with her husband and her brother and say, hey, our kid died. Like, let's just be sad.
Yeah.
I really think Aemond would have been better with her.
Yeah.
Whether- yeah.
Oh, yeah. He understood, like, her
He knows what it takes.
intricacies, you know?
He knows
He
what it
values
takes.
her.
Yeah.
He values her is a really good way of saying that.
Yeah. And my note on this, Abby, to kind of steal away you had said, it was at that moment Coleslaw knew he'd fucked up.
Coleslaw.
Oh, sorry, I stole
No,
it
you're all good.
earlier.
I didn't have it written in there, but
There's many of those moments in this
yeah,
episode
you
where
know, like you standing there,
somebody
just like,
fucked up.
you know.
I should not have said that.
He's pitiful.
Yeah, so I would say, like, this scene, like, what were we talking about, Damon kind of not being there for her kids? So we see Rhaenyra kind of having a strong bond with the kids, playing with them, especially after a kid their age has just perished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
think
it's
it's heartfelt.
unfortunate that might be what triggered her to be around her kids more, but if it makes a better bond between them,
Yeah,
it's for the
really
best.
great bond. Just 2 brothers. I just this whole sequence, because there were 3 different scenes in this, right?
Yeah.
And there were no words in like any of it, right? It was just, oh, Cole looks sad.
Yeah.
Helena looks sad. And what was the third one? Rhaenyra looks sad.
Looks sad.
Okay. Yeah, which I feel like we haven't had much of that in the House of the Dragon.
Oh, bullshit. Rhaenyra, last episode, we saw her for 10 minutes on screen. She said 1 line.
Because she was
I get
grieving the son? I mean,
Yes.
okay. I just meant like 3 in a row. I don't know.
Like back to back to back.
I'm not doing my homework, folks.
Yeah.
I don't have any bring receipts. I just felt like it was a very classic Game of Thrones
Yes.
move. It's all. It felt very familiar. It didn't
Everybody
feel
said.
weird having so much time with so few words
It felt
spoken.
later season Game of Thrones than early.
See-
Early was always, if there was conversation. Everything's a conversation. Like very little
Maybe.
downtime.
Maybe.
Later seasons, yes, definitely.
I
had
don't
a
think
lot
I
more.
watched that show. Was it called Game of what? I don't think I saw this.
But I think they kept with the trend of the later seasons of more cinematic, more just letting things breathe.
Sure,
and
6 and on.
show instead of tell kind of thing.
Sure.
So
Well, because if they were going to
Figure
show
it out,
before, there'd be
audience.
boobs.
Just figure it the fuck out. We'll explain nothing. You'll be fine.
well, yeah. Now they have to fill time without showing, or they fill time without just tits and dragons.
More on that later.
Yeah. All right.
There's a whole scene of just dragon later. It's coming up.
True.
All right, we're going to go back to King's Landing, or continue at King's Landing, but not Dragonstone. Alicent draws a bath, confronts Colony Cole, submerges. What?
Emergency.
Colony Cole.
Can't wait until the names get just so outlandish.
Oh, they're getting there. They're
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of self-reflection that goes on in this scene. Everyone is really looking inward and trying to see, like,
looking into the bathtub.
I mean, Christianity feels like he wants to do that.
Would you? Yeah, thought so.
But I think that it kind of triggered some interesting self-reflection for these characters, that they are reconsidering what their prior choices.
I don't know. Boo-hoo, Chronic Cole. There is no absolution for what I've done, as he says. Like, go, cry me a fucking river. Like, you literally play both sides of this card so fucking hard. You're so self-righteous that, oh, I'm driven by guilt now, and then I just keep doing the same things.
Yeah,
and
if he felt guilty about that, he'd have stopped it after Rhaenyra.
Yeah, what a...
What did they say the definition of insanity is? Doing the same things over and over again?
Mm-hmm. Can you say that again?
A different result.
Just keep saying it. No, it's just brutal to hear him, like, commiserate over himself and, like, try to put guilt on somebody else when you're the one driving... They call him Kingmaker. Like, they don't in the show so much, but... Like, that's supposed to be his nickname.
And we don't on this show.
On this show, we don't call him Kingmaker Cole. We call him Kaleidoscope Cole sometimes. But, like, fuck you, dude. Like, this dude sucks. Like,
He does suck.
If you're a
I
Cole
agree.
fan, subscribe and leave a like and comment, but, like, don't talk in the
Fuck
chat.
off.
Like,
Please don't tell us
just
about
don't
it.
tell us about
Go
it.
away.
Appreciate you, but, hey, thoughts and
At
prayers.
the beginning of this scene, he goes, "What do you take me for?" And all I wanted to hear
whore.
was, "What you are."
Yeah.
Just what you are.
A
What
queen
more?
fucker?
Ah, terrible. Terrible. Next.
All right, we gotta stick with the same person here.
Son of a...
Colonoscopy, Cole, troubles.
Son of a bitch! How did you
Hey, we used it last episode.
Did we?
It was
Okay.
brought out last episode. It was Columbine. Just saying. Those are receipts that I've got.
Colonoscopy, Cole, troubles. Sir Eric of appearances and whereabouts during the murder. Cole gives Eric a chance to restore his disgrace.
Alright, I'm glad Eric called out Cole in your stocking for not having the sworn shield for Helena. You know, it's just like, dude. He's like, well, if your brother had... It's like, yeah, my brother's been gone for weeks. Why haven't we replaced him? Because apparently, I guess Helena, that was... Eric was Helena's, is what they were implying. And so that's why she didn't have a...
So it's almost like, because Eric was the one that was with Aegon all the time, and so that would make sense that it would kind of transfer over.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the first episode, because I don't remember seeing him. I thought it was just Aegon with his cronies or
I
whatever.
think he was just in the the hall with the cronies.
nearby.
Like I don't know if they showed him in there.
I'm going to
I bet
leave
he
you
would
guys...
be.
Yeah.
On the blood and cheese
on the
walkthrough.
overall...
Yeah, but I think, like I said, Eric E was Helena's, and they haven't replaced her, and that's where Cole's getting this, big mindset. Well, it's your fault because your brother
For looking like the guy who used to take care of her.
it's like your brother. Well, it's like, dude, he's been gone. It's on you to fucking replace him, and you
It's
haven't.
kind of your job.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the boss.
Literally, my note just says, fuck this dude. Fucking Corsica Cole. Like...
Hey, don't you be as mean to buy Corsica.
the mystery goat. Sorry about. I wasn't. That's not a shot at mystery goats everywhere.
Thanks.
Chevrolet Corsica back in 2004. Hey,
It
you know,
was like 97.
it was great. It was great.
It was awesome.
But I think it's interesting that like when Christianity Cole walks up and he starts bitching at Auric, that he's like all of the other Kingsguard just like, oh no, we're not going to be involved in this. Like, oh, what? They all just like fuck off. Like, I feel like if it's going to be that big of a deal, they should like unite in that moment and come together and be like, well, let's hash this out in front of everybody. It's just like the fact that they all fucking cowed and like ran away. Like, oh no, Cole is angry. Let's get out of here. Like, what fucking?
He's hungry. Get out of here.
They think that Auric is tainted goods after his brother left, and so he's probably got some
You
sort
think
of
so?
stigma against him. And they're like, well, we're just gonna not see this.
Okay, I mean, I guess Cole could have poisoned the well enough to the others on both of the Cargill brothers, right? But like, I don't know. We just haven't seen that a bunch until where I just thought it was like, where are you guys going? Like, I feel like this should be okay, duke it out in front of everybody as opposed to like,
where did you go?
Stop it. Stop.
You did it.
He did it.
You did it.
I already returned the serve. We don't need to have another ace.
Have we already covered the fact that Cole does the exact same thing Damon does, like making demands or setting out people to go on quests without any like oversight?
No.
Just fucking does it.
Quest of Mead.
Yeah,
It's just the same thing. It's the same
beer,
thing, different house.
quest
Like
of
the
meat.
entire episode is just same thing, different house.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Over and
There's a
over
lot
again.
of parallels from each side. Like
Yeah.
there's Damon is Aemond and also Cole, kind of like it's kind of a combination. There's a lot of seats being filled by similar types of characters, and it's not the people making the calls that are actually making the calls is what it comes down to.
Nobody in charge is actually in charge, and it's a problem, and they need to rein it fucking in.
Need to Rhaenyra it in.
They need to absolutely rein
Rhaenys.
it
They need to
in.
Rhaenys it in. That'd be
Yeah.
a much more effective way.
No, I just hate that we have Pot calling the kettle black coal,
Oh,
throwing
man.
around our
Damn
purity
kettlebacks.
like he has any. Like, you're not also doing things that are not gold cloakish.
Gold cloaky.
Oh, black coal.
Cloakian.
Boom.
All right. Anything else for? Do we think it's a good plan? Let's ask that.
Oh, he's basically setting him directly to his death.
It's a Hail Mary.
It's a Hail Mary move.
Yeah.
And if it works, it'll be great. And if it doesn't,
It's a
well,
kamikaze mission, though.
it wasn't.
It is,
that
but can that be
big of a
effective?
He's
Abby?
expandable, like we were talking earlier.
He's expandable.
Just
like
the
Kirby.
fire. I mean, they can be, but more oftentimes than not, they're less deadly and impactful than you would hope.
Fair.
But
I think it has a chance of being effective. I also immediately, when this came up, I was like, okay, well, like, what are the chances that Rhaenyra's using the same armor for her Kingsguard? Like, they haven't done, like, you know what, fuck that, we're gonna do something different
Let's
and make
reforge him
sure...
some new armor.
they're gonna be glittered purple.
Yeah, they didn't spy on them.
Kingsguard.
Okay, they're wearing this kind of shit or whatever. And then another thing, like, how does he know like where to go in the castles?
That was, which... We got some walking through to do here, but yeah, like he's never been there as far as we know.
He probably
He
has.
probably has from when Viserys was king.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just haven't
Because
really
I haven't
seen
seen
it.
it.
We just haven't seen it. But like,
We're
when
also
was the
not there yet.
last time Aegon was at Dragonstone? Because he's been with Aegon for a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
It's.
I think it's a valid question. Someone in the chat, if you do know, feel free to throw it out there. If we've ever seen
I don't think we've ever seen
the
Aegon
twins
on-
or Aegon at Dragonstone.
Yeah.
We're getting to that scene where they actually do that happen. Coming up, not to spoil anything.
All right.
Next
Speaking
scene.
of Dragonstone.
Okay, we got Jace meets Bela on the cliffs to chat.
So, I mean, it's kind of just like they all know and accept that, yeah, Strong is probably the sire. As we've discussed last year. You know, as we discussed, it's been accepted that Lenore accepted Jace and Luke and the third one. The third one? I can't remember his name.
The third one.
As his own, regardless of the DNA. So to me, they're legitimized in that sense. Like, so even if it's not, you know, it's like kind of one of those, you know, realms. So I'm fine with that. But it's like, it's seeming like Bela and even Jace are accepting of, yeah, that's probably what happened. You know, just with their casual conversation they were having about Harwin Strong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any real thoughts on this scene except it's nice to see them
Yeah.
not be weird about it. Like,
Yeah.
they've owned it, they've accepted it. Let's just treat it like normal.
My number one note: Jace misses Luke. He misses his brother, and
Somebody's got to.
I mean, you know, to all the Luke, let's just do it again. All the Lukes out there, you know, hey, it's getting old now, isn't it?
Luke Remembrance Day.
Luke Remembrance Day. You know, there's just so many good ones out there. But like, I think it is important to see that he's struggling with, because he's always had Lucerys by his side since he was. I mean, they literally did grow up next to each other, even very different than Aemond and Aegon. Like, they were always with each other. They got along. They were gonna marry sisters together. Like, they were pretty damn tight. And yeah, that's a blow to him, you know, and that's tough. I'm glad that we got some of that from him before him and his woman, you know, have to split for a little while.
What's interesting to me here is I know nothing about what's coming, I guess, or who.
How could you? We haven't seen the next episode. It comes out in an hour.
Jason Bela. Is that how you say her name, Bela?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I'm right. Okay.
It's good enough.
Like,
Lenora.
This gets put in there. It feels very, like, out of place a little bit, or, like, not a lot's going on. So, to me, it feels like, hey, pay attention to this. They're, like, here's some, like, buildings, stepping stone things. And all I can see right now is, like, they like, checked in with each other. So I feel like as a married couple, as long as, you know, they don't die in the next episode, which they might, they're awesome. Or one of them does die in the next episode, and it's creating like the callback to why the other person would be so vengeful or whatever. So I don't know what's going on with them. I just feel like they have a bigger story coming.
It feels like I agree. Like, it feels like, hey, let's get out their emotions in this moment because they're going to be separated, and you don't know for how long.
Yeah, and I don't know why or whatever. And also, like, they seem pretty kind to each other, and they feel like equals. It's a pretty good relationship. So they seem nice. She seemed pretty good at target practice. Like her.
Yeah,
like
she can
him.
shoot a crossbow, and he can have a conversation.
She can talk.
I like him though. He misses his Luke, so I like him.
He can be Prince.
Yeah, if they miss their Luke, then
Then I'm for him.
Can't you blame him?
No.
All right.
Not for missing your loot tonight.
We ready to
That's
move
the
on?
problem.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on.
All right, we're gonna go to King's Landing. We got Aemon weeps in a pleasure house.
Luke.
Aemond misses his Luke as well, for the
There we go.
record.
I would
God.
like to point out that these are the first boobs of the season.
First boobs of the season, you know, and to all those ladies, double door clap. It's a good point out, though.
It's a weird scene.
It's
like
super-
him being all like curled up.
I
He just looks
wasn't
so
Very
long and
Voldemort.
lanky.
Like he's so
I
skinny.
wasn't
like,
convinced he
creep-
was a man. Zooming when we
I'm not
first
convinced he's a
went in.
man either, Eb.
I mean, like, I don't mean that rudely towards the actor, but like the way it's shot, like at first I was like, wait, was that him that we just zoomed? Oh, wow, it is. I was very confused.
Like, yeah, I wonder if it was like if that's actually the actor that we saw because
The
that was
body
like,
double.
super skinny, like ripped. Maybe I
I
don't
think
know.
he is pretty skinny.
I mean, he's really
I
I
know
mean,
nothing
I'm
wrong with
just.
skinny. That's good.
I'm not. It just
Don't
looked.
hate.
Like I don't know, like when
Yeah,
they're
'cause
trying
he
to show
was-
him diminish. Like what I'm saying is like
Butt
show him
naked.
diminish, show him, you know, regretting, you know.
It's literally dumb or not dumb.
He's
Yeah, it's
vulnerable.
Dumbledore, King's Cross,
Yeah,
Voldemort in his little baby form
yeah.
under the stool is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's vulnerable. He's literally naked, and he's talking about the things that he regrets.
Boo-hoo. Luke stole my note earlier. It's literally here. Boo-hoo. Must suck. You killed somebody, like, because you lost control, because you are so emotional. And, yeah, he's a man-child. They're all man-children. And I'm
But
over the man-children.
And the thing is, though, he's not upset about the Luke thing. Realistically, he says, "I regret that. I'm sorry about that." But he's not upset by that. He's upset that his actions then caused Jaehaerys to be the recipient of the retribution.
You think he
Exactly,
has no...
'cause
Hold on, Abby. Go ahead, Abby. Go ahead.
Because it only affected him. He wasn't sorry until he got caught, and maybe not that, but he wasn't sorry until what he did, because he wasn't thinking long term. He was thinking with his fucking emotions and let it get out of control. And then there was some type of retribution that he's directly responsible for. And oh wow, that maybe wasn't the best idea.
He
Now
didn't
I feel
kill
bad.
Luke. That was not his order to the dragon.
We watch this
The
show so
dragon
differently in this house,
Did it on
apparently.
its own.
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong
Then
about
maybe
that.
he should learn how to control his dragon before
He's
he
got the
takes it
biggest,
out.
scariest dragon in the world.
Right,
He
then maybe
chased
he
after
should've
Luke.
taken it
Yeah,
out
but he
and
chose that
learned how to
dragon.
use it.
Yes.
He
I agree.
guided him. He chased after Luke to scare him, quote unquote, and the dragon took it
And
from
then
there.
this dragon didn't listen.
You know, yeah. So it is on
He's
him
got a
for
bad dog.
you know.
He's got a bad dog. You put the dog down. The dog's stronger than anything we own.
No, don't listen to
His
him.
response was he's not like the reason he's so upset right in this scene. It's not because of what happened with Luke. He regrets it. He's like,
I think he legitimately regrets it.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
he actively
I think he
did
does.
not want Luke dead there.
Or if he did, he wanted it by his hand.
That is
Not
not
by
at
his
all
dragon.
how he wanted it to go down. I don't know. I'll defend Aemond here. I think
in
he's
addition-
being truthful.
I think it was kind
he's
of a.
being truthful. He's just naive.
It was definitely like a near miss that because he could have got killed if he would have been there, but he was at the pleasure house the night before.
yeah, and it
So I
got
think
back
that-
to him that they were
I don't
looking
That might be part of it.
Or it did
because
it.
he said they came looking because we already had the scene with blood and everything, so he had already
That's true.
confessed, and so Aemon, I'm sure, knew that they were looking for him, but when they couldn't find him because he was with her, they went for
Yeah, I'm sure there's some guilt in that of like,
Yeah.
oh, my brother's kid is dead now because I'm supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Now I have guilt. That's hard to carry. Well. Sorry.
All right.
They're all gonna die, so it's okay. Because we know what happens 300 or 200 years from here.
170, however many years ago.
And none of these people are
172.
alive. None of these people are alive in the show that we watch after.
They don't make it to the second show.
We just haven't seen the one that's still alive. A couple of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, a tree. What's the wood witch? The wood witch.
Melisandre.
Yeah, you're talking about the God's Eye.
No. Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
The one Arya meets. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
Maggie the frog. That's what I'm thinking of.
Next scene.
Yep.
We have Hugh the Scorpion Smith is spending quality time with family.
Go ahead. Go on.
So yeah, we see Hugh the Scorpion Smith. I don't know if that's an official title, but that's what I gave it to him. So.
I would say for this show, it's official. That's
And
good.
I think this is a simple yet powerful scene because basically it kind of comes down to the crown has not given them the relief. They promised that, that they would get this relief, but it hasn't happened yet, and it probably isn't going to happen from what it sounds like. It's kind of not on their radar.
Yeah.
Especially now.
And with things that happen later in the episode, like the king and the hand just don't seem like they're responsible, to give them their bone.
Yeah. And like, I really hope they keep this dynamic. After reading further, there was a character we talked about last week that does become something. But like this one, I like this small folk, focus. It's one thing we never really got from Game of Thrones, where unless you're tied to specifically somebody in one of the major houses, one of the lords,
Yeah.
we didn't know about the small folk shit going on.
Not often.
And there's just a sacrificial ham.
Yeah, like it was always just
Hammond.
exactly.
It's Hammond.
So
John Hammond.
Richard
and
Hammond.
I like that it shows, what the courtesan, and see, I use
Correct.
the proper term, the courtesan, said to Aemond in the last scene. When princes make mistakes, the small folk get hurt.
Like me, she says.
Which
Well, yeah,
then
like-
clearly
like
rolls
me,
right
right,
into this
rolls
of like,
right
any
here's
loose.
a direct example of what she's talking
Yeah,
about.
and so I think it was a perfectly added scene and something you don't expect to see from this show. You're expecting all the High Lord and all that shit.
I would say I don't feel like we've seen anything like this specifically. This reminded me of like season 5, 6 when Arya and the Hound were going around together and they found that father-daughter
Yes.
and ended up kind of killing them,
Yes.
stealing their shit. But like it was one of those like it only happened every once in a while. But when it does, it's very grounding. Of like
But
it's a very well developed scene the way they did it to show, like Glenn was saying, this is the real plight of the realm, whether we see it or not. This is the real issue.
yeah, but even then, you still
Besides
have
what's north of
Arya
the
and
wall.
Hound as your main upper lords. They're
Yeah, this is true. Nothing.
This is
Like,
nothing.
yeah.
Apart from we saw him talking to the king last episode. That was it.
Sure.
So but no, I see your point on that.
But
Yeah.
nice job, Benj. Good point.
Bailey.
nothing really about this scene. It was just nice to see how other people are affected by what's going on in the castle.
Any thoughts on it? Okay. Oh, somebody got a coin.
I wondered who the actor was because he looked really familiar. And I was like, that was it.
Yeah, it was the guy that played Hugh the Scorpion Smith. But
Scorpions.
Sorry,
I looked it up. I couldn't find, I looked up the actor. I couldn't find something that I thought was.
He kind of looks like Squirrely Dan, just a touch.
Squirrely Dan.
That's what I appreciate about him.
All right. Next scene.
Next scene, we go to Driftmark. Brothers Alan and Adam of Hull talk prospects. Corlys and Rhaenys talk pillow.
I got nothing.
I would say, yeah, Alan is just extremely humble, and when his big brother kind of sees, like, hey, you should take advantage of, this gift that you've been given by Corlys, kind of saying you're a cool guy or whatever.
Hey, I think you're cool and stuff. Can I give you things?
Like, you need to go ask for favors and stuff.
Is this his sons?
No.
No.
These are not Corlys's sons.
No. Yeah, these are Oakharts, technically.
Well, they're Alan
Hull.
and Adam of Hull.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Well, I heard
Brett's-
that there were some sons somewhere
Brett's kids.
of his.
Yeah,
Brett and Bobby's.
Bobby's grandsons.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that Alan is so against wanting this position. And he talks about, like, if you'd seen what I've seen, like, what is it exactly that's got him so anti going out Corlys?
Yeah. I don't know, sometimes people are just like, man, I don't want the glory, I just want to do my job.
Can I just go home at the end of the day and
Right.
leave it behind me?
You go to
Yeah.
Hot Shots
a real Cincinnatus.
and
Go
tie one on. And
shove
happy hour.
your sword into a
How
plowshare.
about the corn? No, what was the food?
For what?
But he said when he changes the topic to move on, he's like, tell me about
The carrots or so the stew.
yeah,
the
stew,
carrot.
the stew.
Yeah.
Or the
Like
carrots
lamb
and the
stew
stew.
or
That's
something.
Yep.
it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where these guys go. It seems, that's 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go.
Well, this is Adam's first one, right?
Right, yeah, but it's nice. It's cool to see that they're kind of expanding on the
Yeah.
Alan,
Alan has a brother.
and we're learning more
Really gonna
about
come
that.
I really think you guys should do some research for me, I should say. Let me
Hey,
put my
Abby,
research
I'm also
out
specifically
there.
not telling
I
you
really
things.
think they might be.
Abby, I'm also specifically not telling you things. So
What?
I'm specifically
sure they're his
withholding
fucking sons.
information from you because nobody else on this show has read
Yep,
the book.
they're his fucking sons.
Spoilers,
they're
they might be. When I blatantly said,
I'm fucking pissed.
when I said nothing, that means you were spoiled. Maybe.
Sorry, they
Hey,
fucking are.
They-
allegedly. We'll come back to
They
it.
probably miss their Luke, too.
Oh,
You
all
know,
our
they're
oaths
missing
and
Luke.
all the vows and all the things we have to stick to because he had to kill his brother because it was his oath. But we have to have other kids with other women and then go pillow talk. I'm over men in this show. Least favorite part. There, it's already done for later on because we're moving quick now.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All
Over.
right.
All
Over
right.
it.
Anybody else for that or the pillow talk scene? I don't remember
It was-
what was talked about.
It was good. It was basically Corlys learning from Rhaenys why Daemon would be so frustrated having the crown pass over him.
Yeah.
And why that's such a big deal because she's felt it and he hasn't. That was kind of
That's fair.
one of the cruxes of the
You can't
conversation.
understand if it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Right, and
Try to think about how it would feel.
you can be as ambitious for it as you want, but until it's been realized and then unrealized, you don't realize what that's like.
And then she does make the joke of,
Really?
Rhaenyra hasn't, had the pleasure of, ordering him around or whatever, and Corlys goes, I feel bad for it, because a callback to last season when they were doing the Stepstones together, Corlys was the commanding officer in that realm. Daemon actually answered to him for a time until the roles flipped and Daemon became king of the Stepstones or whatever.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself for a second. Something smells like it's burning in my house. And
Okay.
I need to go check on that.
Well, good to know.
luck.
I can just take your screen out of here, and we can just go to the full screen. Okay.
I didn't know COVID, the house burns on fire too.
Oh man, if it starts smelling like waffles in the
That's
house.
the new variant.
The waffles variant.
The maple variant.
Oh,
Maple
dear.
variant.
I hope Abby's house is okay.
Yeah.
But where are we at?
Yeah, we're almost there. We're back to Dragonstone.
Dragonstone. All right. Rhaenyra interrogates Mysaria, eventually sets her free. So I just kind of grouped all this
Gobbled that
Mysaria because they eventually cut back to her later, and it shows
It's
her
a brief thing
But
right
yeah,
before.
so I just figure
later.
let's just get everything with her knocked out right now if we can.
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I know
fine.
she-
That's
For the most
that's
part,
fine.
yeah.
We see her at like the second to last scene
At
again.
worst, we
but
can just briefly mention, and this
Right.
is where the white worm thing happened.
sure.
So, my only thing is the worm Mysaria with the old it's my lot in life. It's not a lot, but it's a life. You know, like that's pretty much her whole speech was. I came here, I was a whore, so my buddy, I did this, I did that, now I'm here, and now I'm a prisoner, and I was told to be freed. That's what I got.
This felt again. This episode more than a lot of the other ones recently. I guess like season 1 and the last one feel very much more like let's go play on like the Game of Thrones scenes that people like.
Yeah.
And like this feels like, hey, let's go do the backstory of the whore
Yeah.
story. Like
Yeah.
it felt very much like that, and I like getting her backstory a little bit, from Lise and
Do you
all that.
think,
But like, it's just interesting that. Go ahead.
Like, do you think they got everything they want from her, and now like we're not going to hear from her again, or it's just?
I hope so. I personally, I feel like her character's run its course. Like I feel
Right,
like
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like it's done its job, and it's enough. Like I think if it comes back, it's kind of like okay, well they just want to bring in somebody else. Like
right.
That's my take on it currently.
I feel she has more to play.
I think so too. My note is literally, I hope this isn't the last we see of the White Worm.
Oh, I didn't read the notes.
I feel like she's gonna come back in either at the end of the season or in a future season, and be on Rhaenyra's side. I think that Rhaenyra showing her a little bit of sympathy and following Daemon's supposed word that she can only trust by proxy at this point, it's gonna go a long way for the White Worm to be more inclined to help Rhaenyra, and I think that this could be a good card in the back pocket.
Also, for the record, it's very likely that she's coming back. Ooh, more spoiling.
More.
It's pretty likely she's coming back.
I mean, she's got a cool name. She's got to.
Does she? Is it white or worm, or that you like better?
Cool.
My
I don't like
Spacia.
My space.
I think I killed the mice lady.
Misa lady. Well, now your back's gonna hurt because now you've got landscaping duty.
All
Alberta.
right. Next scene, we got the beach.
Yep.
Really,
And-
where is it?
Adam collects treasure as a dragon flies overhead.
So that would have been the drift mark. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's Moondancer.
You said a beach.
He's spotting. Could have been. Is it correct? Sees that Damon or
He flew up already, though.
he'd already flown off.
He's flown
He's been
off.
gone. So
That
this is
happened
probably,
earlier
like-
when Bela and
Yeah.
Jace were hanging out.
Yeah, so that's why I figured
Shit.
this is probably Moondancer that she was told don't be seen, and
But this is also back at home, and
we'll get
She
drift
doesn't have to
marks.
be on stealth mode yet.
Yeah, no, I know.
or she's back already.
True.
Very efficient at surveillance.
She's already.
She's the
figured out what to
fastest surveiller in town.
I would just
She's
say,
the
like,
SR-71 of.
Nice.
I don't know, this is
Right
kind of
now.
a brief scene we have here, but it is kind of majestic. Just I think he kind of stops what he's doing just to get a look at, at the drag.
At the drag queen in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was the scene where when you were like, we haven't seen just dragons or boobs. We literally had like both of them like 3 scenes apart. Like here's just
Both of those.
what did
We got dragons, then boobs, then more dragons.
yeah, right. Well, what's the what did Melissa always hate about Christopher Columbus's cuts on?
Oh, it was
just the
Yeah, that's exactly
the
what
over sweeping.
the sweeping
Let's kill
panoramic
time.
shots.
Yeah.
That's all this was.
Are
This
you talking
was
about
just
Christopher
filler.
Columbus the explorer or Christopher Columbus Cole?
I'm talking about
No.
Christopher
Show.
Columbus, the movie explorer.
No.
Director
of
of
Home
Harry
Alone.
Potter 1 and 2.
Harry Potter 1 and 2, and Home Alone, and others.
Sail the ocean blue.
But no, it was funny because like you said that, I was like, well, we got boobs and just dragons coming up.
Yeah,
so.
they probably shoot. There's a bunch of dragon stuff, a bunch of boobs, and then like
Intersperse.
those
Sprinkle the
copy
rest
and
of it in
paste.
between.
Put them in here and there.
That's a good, definitely season 1 Game of Thrones take. We're short by 17 minutes. Throw some tits on it.
Have you met your boob quota?
All right.
There's a minimum of, 30 nipples per episode?
Oh, it's a little low.
I get those numbers up.
Gotta get those numbers up, guys. Come on, Condal.
All right. Next
Me and Ryan go way back. We got 40 minutes.
All right, we're back at King's Landing. Many mourn the loss of their rat catcher loved ones. Otto and Aegon dispute the rat catcher cleansing. Otto is fired. Colonoscopy Cole is hired as hand.
Otto's right. Kind of again.
Yeah.
He's like, this is like his most right episode that we've seen.
I never thought I would be so on Otto's side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't want to jump ahead. Anybody get something about the rat catchers or anything?
I would just say we see Good Boy kind of looking up at cheese or whatever.
Was that like how we got the confirmation that was him specifically?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely that was cheese. Because they did a good hard shot on him. But yeah, it was an interesting take. It's kind of it's the burnt soil, salt the earth kind of thing. Just fuck you, you stretch me, I'm ripping your throat out. Kind of take.
Yeah, it's a very rash decision.
Yeah.
Just going for the end result that Aegon wants.
I mean, he's kind of starting to show the crazy Targaryen lash out, just true royal cruelty side of, well, that's a problem, kill them all.
Yeah.
It's a kill them all mentality,
Yeah,
right?
Otto says so, of like, you killed a bunch of innocent people.
And one
guilty
guilt,
one.
hey, very effective on the guilt side.
Yeah.
I definitely killed that bad guy.
Yeah.
I would just add that I think Aegon can be an okay, decent king with the right people around him, like in his council. But definitely getting rid of Otto and having Columbine Cole come in.
Not a good trade-off.
That is not the right person.
Not a good
And I
change.
think I just see it's kind of spiraling out of control.
I'm
Yeah.
honestly surprised he didn't name like Larys or something after dropping the hint of like, hey, that was your dad's
What the hell? What did I?
Yeah.
What do I gotta do?
Club Sandwich just like, hey!
Whose feet do I gotta jerk off to?
I think he
Good hand around here.
Larry's smart enough to say, "Don't pick me." I think Cole.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it.
He
I
doesn't.
agree.
It's easier for him to do
But
his
I think
thing,
that
not
Aegon
being
is
his.
just like, well, but maybe you would be a good one because you dropped that hint. Like, you're clearly observant.
And Otto, realizing this whole scene of that Jeff Goldblum was right, and it was like he was too focused on if he could make Aegon king, or not focused on if he should, because it's like he's just like, fuck. And it's at that moment Otto knew he done fucked up, So, yeah, it was just a neat scene, and him just going off was exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I agree. I fucking love this scene. Like, this is one of my favorite scenes we've had in a
I
while.
love it.
I regular love it as well.
And you have to look against him.
You looped me. And, I don't know, I just love when he's like, thoughtless, feckless. I mean, he basically says Aegon left every feck that he had back up in the tower. He didn't even bring him... No fecks given. He was feckless. And I liked that. It was I very much appreciated that. And to get to that, Aegon is, I want revenge. My new hand will be an iron fist. Like, that's a statement piece right there. That's basically saying...
Weak.
Right, and he's afraid that Otto thinks he's weak. Mm-hmm. He's basically told him that. He's going to overcorrect, potentially, and give it to fucking, Corpkine Cole.
Cornucopia Cole.
Cornucopia Cole. And Abby's back. Hopefully the dragons have been housed.
I lost a beer in the battle, but the Duncan Hines keto thing that shouldn't have been in the microwave for like 45 minutes
Oh dear.
is put out.
Oh dear.
So it's all good.
Wow.
It's okay. I swear there's adults upstairs. Wouldn't know.
Okay. Well,
In other news,
Well, I think
how did you feel about
I think COVID, like one of the side effects is you can't smell sometimes.
oh yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. If there's COVID in the
Didn't
house,
smell anything burning.
smell. You're the only one smelling it. So you could have been here, and the house would have burnt down. Just, I mean,
Hey, without me here.
I'm glad you're not here.
Yes, I know, right?
the nose still knows?
So Abby, this is the scene where the hand ship changes. Basically,
Yep.
Aegon takes it from Otto, gives it to Cole. Overall thoughts coming through here.
I love Otto, in love with him wholeheartedly, and I just loved
He could
was
get it.
right about you.
He was right about it. But your dad was right about you.
Yep.
Brutal.
Yep. That's all my thoughts on it. Otto's my dude for now.
This is, to me, his best scene. He uses the word
yeah.
feckless. Come on, Abby. Who uses feck? There's a lot of $7 words he's using in this
I
scene.
had to get out
You got
the
to throw him out
dictionary.
there. Yeah.
This is his last stand.
His last hurrah.
I do love the bit about, like, you can't talk to the king like that. And he's like, well, the king is my grandson, and my grandson is a fool.
Yeah.
God, it was so good.
Yeah.
At the
so
very
good.
end, he calls him an insolent pup.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was
puff.
so
Like,
good.
tell me that's not as Tywin as it gets.
Yeah.
And the king is tired, is what he's saying there. It's very much right.
I
Like,
also, like, when this is all going down, I'm not completely convinced that Cole even thinks this is a good
We're
idea.
on Tire Bow Watch.
keep going, Abby. We're on
Hey.
Dire Po obstacle course over here.
No,
Oh,
Yeah, so you're
Clip that
basically
up.
saying, like,
I don't like.
did-
I'm not convinced that Cole doesn't think that this is a good idea. Like, he even looks like, wait, what are we doing right now? Do you think this is? Oh shit!
Oh, Cole does not think he was getting this job. I don't think
Yeah,
he
he
had
was
that
kinda
anywhere in his
surprised
deck.
That's an option,
Oh,
Definitely
interesting.
This is a lot of responsibility. Do you know I'm fucking your mom?
right?
I don't think he knows.
I don't think so.
It just kind of,
cares?
it just kind of sucks how this guy's just such a piece of shit, and he gets a promotion. Like,
This is
he had
this.
the one good,
Isn't that real
good
life?
idea.
He had the one good idea.
Yeah, to send Arik out. That's why he gets promoted.
It's
In
the one
moment,
aggressive
yeah,
retaliation move right
It's
now.
another thing that he does without Aegon does without thinking through the consequences of his choice.
Aegon with Daemon by his side would have finished this already.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been a burnt earth mentality, kill it all,
Yeah,
and
send
start
the
again.
dragons out
and
to
then
scorch 'em.
go to the moon.
Otto's the. Oh, I shouldn't say Otto's the only one. Otto and Rhaenyra seem to be. We'll put Rhaenys in there. We just haven't seen her much this episode. Have any type of forethought at all?
I think Allison
Those-
can be put into that too.
I don't. I think Allison is so naive to her own detriment.
I see
And
what
we'll
you're
get
saying, like
to
the
there
forethought
later. We'll
thing,
get to
yeah.
there later. But yes. Terrible.
A lot of dumbs.
No.
It's a lot of dumbs. Next scene?
All right, we're gonna go back to Dragonstone. Sir Eric infiltrates the castle to slay the queen. Battles brother Eric, who was sworn to protect her. Rest in peace, bros.
So my first note on this is because we're going back to the mice thing, because right before that scene was when Rhaenyra actually freed her.
Yeah.
She's walking down. Is this to make us assume that Mysaria went back and warned Eric of what she just saw? Like, I think it's probably a safe bet that that's what happened, but thoughts?
That's the only thing that makes sense of why she stops the one guard or whoever it
Yeah,
is afterwards.
like why would we need to know
Because,
that?
like,
Just
I
a
just saw that
moment.
man up in the
Just a
council, and
moment.
like now he's coming from above.
Yeah, you know, and how
being
Eric
Juanita
knew
speaking.
on
Just
the brother, you know, fast forward the scene, but he,
Right.
he knew what was going on as soon as he walked in.
brothers.
So, yeah, I would just wanted to.
The first time we watched it, or not the first time, because that was after but when Bailey and I watched again, middle of the week, I should say, we kind of had a similar thought of like, she's turning around, and then we saw your note today, and we're like, let's find out where like in the scene, it may have happened. And there's a specific spot where like Eric with an E is kind of walking around. He's got his helmet off, but it's not like he's really searching. He's just kind of walking.
But he does kind of keep like looking.
He starts doing a little bit more. But like there's a moment where it finally, you get the guard change at the door, which again, we're kind of blitzing through the scene a little bit, but we don't see Rick for a little bit, and it seems like maybe that would have been enough time that all of the things could have transpired. But there are many ways you could cut the apple in this case, but it was a parent trap scene, right? It's very much like, I'm gonna sneak in and be the wrong twin! Yeah!
I was kind of hoping for some kind of twin loyalty to just kind of take over. Like, I don't know if you guys know many twins or anything, but it seems like a twin, especially identical twin, they kind of have this energy where they kind of think the same thing, they say the same things, they dress similar, to where it's like, it kind of sucked that they had to kill each other.
Yeah.
I was hoping for just a come together moment, like we're going home. Fuck
like
this.
Apollo Creed and Rambo. Rocky.
From what movie?
I don't fucking know. One of
Predator.
the Rambo
No,
movies.
it's Predator.
This is the argument.
It's actually
that-
Predator.
Is it?
Yep. And it was actually it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It was out before I was alive, so
It wasn't Rock. It wasn't.
it's not Stallone. It's Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
I'll be back.
So my next
He's playing
point-
with squash.
Went to Six Flags on Friday, and we stopped over at Wally's on the way home.
Oh dear.
And they had, and I picked it up just for this scene, just to talk about it.
Oh dear.
A beer called Big Hoss.
Big
This
Hoss.
is the Big Hoss fight of the season so far.
So far,
You know,
yeah.
and so cheers on Big Hoss beer for that. Not very good, but it's okay.
It's not
It is a
very
beer.
good.
I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's from Urban Chestnut. It's fine.
Oh, there's way worse out there
There's
than
way
that.
worse,
Oh
but-
dear. You're talking about gas station beers. That's way better than a gas station beer.
Well, it's Urban Chestnut, so yeah.
It doesn't just say beer.
It doesn't taste
Light
like
beer.
crude oil or something.
So, and then, again, going back to the behind-the-scenes thing, the only stunt they weren't allowed to do, the actors themselves, because they worked their asses off to, perfect it, they wouldn't let them go through the pot. They had to have a stunt double.
That's why you had the pot in the
We were
note.
so wondering about
we
this
went
fucking
back and
broken
rewatched
pot.
the whole scene. I'm like, what the hell is up with this pot? Why did Benji have it in his note?
What the fuck?
Like, okay, they fell into the pot.
Who gives
whatever.
a shit? There's a broken pot earlier with the dropped ashes. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, that's why, and I wanted to, keep it vague, but yeah, I thought that was cool that they let them do pretty much everything else, because those twin brothers, the actors, worked their asses off to make this scene as powerful as it was. It was an emotional, just tragic scene, and even at the end, I'm not sure exactly who was the last.
we'll come back. Let's come back to that. Let's come
Okay.
back because it's a really.
Good question.
Let's talk about the goings on before the end of it.
Go ahead.
So,
Okay.
Glenn, did you have any thoughts on the big fight itself in general? Just, I haven't read your notes or anything. I don't know.
It just kind of sucks. It's a shame that the recklessness of others means these guys
Force
have to,
them to
die.
to kill each other.
And then another thing, Rhaenyra just kind of stands and watches it.
We were kind of.
Helplessly.
I was a little more helpless from her than I expected. Not even that she had to
At least
participate,
run.
but doing
Yeah,
something
'cause
more
she was just
actively to defend herself.
Kind of a sitting
I was
duck until
surprised
that one
by.
guy came in.
Yeah, Lawrence.
the door.
The big problem too, though, of that is
The door was locked.
door was locked, and also she didn't know which one was which.
I
Agreed,
understand
and
that.
I think that that's why she stays,
Yeah.
because she wants to know in her heart that she can trust whoever makes it out of this fight.
But how do you know which one makes it out of the fight? Even if they.
That's
It's so complicated. It's so
It's
good.
like the shell game of they're all moving around and you gotta pay attention to which one's which.
Oh, it's tough, and they both get a very similar leg wound throughout
that
as
was
well.
That was another thing
it's
brought up, and the thing they said.
because even at the end, it's not like you can just say, "Oh, that one got cut." Oh, they both kind of did.
Yep, and they made that specifically so you had no idea who
Who
it
was
actually was. In the after show, that was specifically made a point, and I'm like, oh, that was a nice touch, because
It was good.
the last one takes himself out technically.
Abby, thoughts on the brothers Cargillion
Yes.
fight?
So and I'm lucky that I am privileged enough to have this feeling. I know that. So just know that there's ignorance coming from my view.
You know
I'm
what, Abby?
aware.
That's why we invite you.
Thank you.
For the
So,
ignorance.
thank you for the ignorance here. There is nobody in this world that could get me to kill my brother.
You're right. You tried. It couldn't work. It didn't work.
I mean, like, could I physically? Yes, but emotionally, no. Like, I don't understand. And then the argument has been said, but they're oaths. They're oaths. They're oaths. I'm so fucking sick
Of hearing oaths.
Everybody, this is where the isn't that his son's thing come in. We take these vows. So which vows do we?
Care
So
about?
only men's vows to each other seem to be prevailing through there, or to their rulers, not to their wives. Like, it fucking pisses me off. There is nothing in this world that my brother could do except like against me specifically. No person could say, well, you're on my side, go kill him to show me your loyalty. Sorry, not loyal to you. I don't get it. Like, fine, it's a show. That's what happened. Great, I will move on. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like it. I don't respect it. Great, they died big, honorable deaths defending what? Not themselves, not each other. That's disgusting to me.
You know who
Sorry.
your comment reminded me the most of?
What?
Jaime Lannister, when he's talking about oaths. We take so many oaths. Protect the king, protect your family. Like,
Yep.
when he's talking to Catelyn, right? And he's imprisoned, and he's just like,
Yep.
what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like,
Right.
how can I
Choose the most
possibly
important.
choose right? And it's interesting because, like, very specifically, the end of last season, or even last episode, when Auric is talking to
says.
Daemon, he basically says, what are we supposed to do when the king's family is fighting themselves? Like, it's the same kind of, what do these oaths mean, and how can you judge me by choosing which oath I chose? It's an impossible. It's basically showing the unrealism of that system. The honor system's kind of broke, is what it is.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
my other thought on this scene specifically is, have you ever tried to braid somebody's hair that won't fucking stand still?
Straight jacket works.
Rhaenyra is so lucky she didn't get like, stop. That is really my biggest takeaway from this scene. I was like, Rhaenyra, stand still. Jesus. Like, she's almost to the end of the braid.
And she's like just doing it to be spiteful, it seems like. She's like, oh.
Oh,
all right. Anybody?
So one final question.
Yeah.
Which brother won the fight?
Eric.
Eric. With an E.
E's all around?
well, that's just because that's what I heard was confirmed. At first, I was
E's all
like,
around. I believe
I
it's
also-
because he calls her Your Grace at the end is the
Well,
easy confirmation.
But it's also like that still a town thing where the brother just killed himself. He knows he's got a mortal wound. He can't move on, and he realizes, "Damn, I fucked up." If it was Auric, I fucked
Maybe.
up. And Your Grace, I'm sorry.
But I don't think he would
I
ever
don't
have
even
looked at
think he would call
Rhaenyra
her Your
as.
Grace.
I don't think he would have done it.
That would have been
he had-
too deceitful. He didn't even want to sneak into this castle to do it under deceit.
I feel like
because
there
they're
was too
supposed
much.
to be
They both
transparent.
That's fair.
literally brought a lot of honor to what happened, and they both faltered and
Yes.
fell on what they truly believed.
I think that's one of my biggest problems with this scene. Is like it could have been so easy for Auric to just come in and like pretend like he's Eric.
Not draw a sword
walk
three-quarters
over
the way
to
across the
queen,
room.
Like, hey, I have this one quick question to ask you. Before
Oh,
you
hey,
go to bed,
about
and
this
sword.
diagram.
Yeah. Like,
But the
it
honorable
was
thing
so
is
much easier.
display your intent
Uh-huh.
and let the cards fall where they may.
Right.
or just take your brother off on a ship and be like, we gotta go, man.
That's what I was saying. The twin loyalty. I wanted that.
Glenn's looking for them like that romantic two brothers, run it off
We're
into the
gonna take our
sunset.
ball and we're going home.
One of
Taking
them
a ball,
rowing,
going
the
home.
other one with a parasol. Like, that's what I wanted.
All right.
Come on.
All right, final scene.
Every episode we have one of these, and this happens to be this episode's final scene. Cheers, everyone. Abby, to you as well. Bailey,
Oh.
I'll pass one over to Glenn for you if you tap it one more time. That's from Bailey. There you go.
All right, we're in King's Landing. Otto says his goodbyes. Alicent sees Aegon weep, then returns to chambers for a little slap and tickle with Cole.
Slap and pickle.
So we did get a mention of the third son of Darren in Hightower.
Darren.
So
He does exist.
he does exist.
Darren.
Darren. So I thought that was interesting. Aegon, then showed some humanity, just breaking down and everything. And Alicent's just like, yeah, I want a part of this. Just kind of fucks off. But,
Well, he just needs his space.
yeah, I think it was more of, she'll just let him be.
Right.
Kind of thing.
I would say just, it's kind of disgusting to me that they kind of go on as if nothing happened. Like, no big deal. Talking about Cole and Alicent. Like, it just, I don't really like it.
The whole thing pisses me off. Like, it's just, like, they... I don't know, Cole, I have no time for. That's all I could say. This is the rage sex we didn't want. This is what we got. This is the rage sex we got. And I know we're kind of jumping over Otto's piece, but we've seen that before. Doesn't we feel like we've already seen that scene? Like,
He's been fired before.
I can't stay here. I'm going to go home and go to Daron, which is cool. I'm just
Who
to
the
see what
fuck
happens
is
there.
Daron?
Good question. We'll come back to that. The
what I
third
thought.
son.
I did like Alicent's suggestion of like, no, you could potentially be useful. Like, go to where did she say?
Yes.
With the
Highgarden?
Highgarden. Yes.
Yes.
Go to Highgarden.
Similar direction.
Place yourself there and just wait because you might be back. You don't know.
You do the Buster Baxter. Go away and then come back.
Well, he went away and then he came back again. That's
So-
what Buster Baxter did.
So going to the cold slap and tickle and
The
all
podcast that goes away and then comes
And
back.
this being the end of the episode, God, such a weak ending.
That was the biggest disappointment.
Yeah,
It really should have been the fight.
yeah.
Yep.
Just flip them.
Just flip them. It's easy enough to, and I get it. They're trying to make it more. This was more of the emotional episode. The family loss, the family struggle, and everything, and the battles don't matter as much. That's kind of the goal. At least what my
and the points
interpretation.
don't matter.
Yeah, like my interpretation of where the director and writer were going with it on this one was we're showing more the emotional side that just happened to have a battle in the middle. Great, I get it. I don't like it. I can just be honest about that. Not it could have been so much more impactful. Just your grace, wham, black. Rhaenyra's face, done. You still get every other scene. You just flip flop these and it makes it a lot better.
Stronger.
Yeah.
It's much stronger
Yeah.
finish with the brothers.
I think
Two brothers.
my note on this is it's gross. I literally didn't want to see it. Don't care.
Ooey,
It's like
ooey,
they're-
ooey, ooey.
They're playing at it. It's like somebody who has watched the idea or heard of the idea of like angry sex and be like, "Ooh, I want to experience that."
We're
So I'm gonna
manufacturing
try.
it.
Like it doesn't feel real. Like I do not feel, and it is not the actress because I love Alison Olivia Cook. I love her. I want to put it out
the cookie
there.
monster.
Like it is. I think a choice they make to make it feel not as emotionally impactful as like it should be or could be. I know she's capable of it. It's that idea of like, oh man, you probably have better words for it, but I've heard about this angry sex before. So I want to have a fight and then we can have angry sex. It's just so unbelievable to me. Like,
It's like they-
Sex is supposed to be good for our relationship.
I read about it in my.
I read that in
It's
Cosmo.
possible.
that's exactly how I feel about it. I'm like, come on, guys.
And Cole's like,
King's Landing.
yeah, I can make that happen. Okay.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
not a problem. I'll play along.
Yeah, okay, I could do
I'm doing
anything because
that.
I don't actually have any thoughts
Big
of myself. Like, fucking idiot. Fucking
She
jackass.
just wanted some role Cole play.
Roll.
Coldplay. I don't have a whole lot more on this.
I think that's like
It's a really
soft
soft
ending.
ending. Well, it wasn't as soft as it could have been, I
Flipped
guess.
as Cole it is.
I don't know. We
Decaffeinated coal.
decaffeinated Colombian
Colombian
coffee
coffee
crystals.
crystals.
All right, let's wrap this.
You
up.
said it was real coffee.
Yep. We gotta go. We got
got an episode.
14 minutes.
We got
so we
14.
gotta
All
get into
right.
this.
All right,
Ben,
so
roll us out of here.
we got title description: Rhaenyra the Cruel. Thoughts?
It's very green heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's leading the witness, and I think it's more of like, here's the feel of the realm. We're gonna say Rhaenyra the Cruel she didn't do fucking shit wrong to earn that
Yeah,
title.
I think in this episode, she was kind of a bitch to Mysari at first, but that's about it. I would call it cruel. But
No.
got
But it got better. I mean, it's all about the killing of Jaehaerys, right?
Yeah, the narrative game.
But it's the narrative game that's being called out.
Description.
Oh,
Nice.
here we go. I gotta read this again.
I can get it.
I got it.
Okay.
As Otto schemes to turn the public against her, Rhaenyra questions Daemon's loyalty.
That happened.
Meanwhile, Sir Criston Cole concocts a misguided plan for revenge.
Oh,
Also happened.
do we know that it's misguided, though?
We do now.
But do we?
Ill-conceived.
Ill-conceived.
Misguided?
I think the guidance is right. Like, it's a good idea on the intent.
Just give it a little more time and think.
Ill-considered,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
is... I would like
Hasty.
a hasty
Yeah.
decision. Fair.
All right. Least favorite thing. Abby.
Men. Emotional men.
Approve.
Grow up. Boo-hoo. Get over it. Fucking fight. What do I want to say? That's it.
Bailey.
Every word that came out of Pot Kettle Black Cole's mouth.
Tongue twister.
There it is.
Yeah, my least favorite thing was Chromebook Cole.
Chromebook.
I mean, it's just not even worth a worthwhile OS. He's just useless. Fucking piece of shit.
Glenn.
I would say the death of the brothers.
Fair. And mine goes along with that. It's the brothers not ending the show. That's just technical side. All right, favorite thing. I'll start. Rhaenyra and Aemon's confrontation. I actually loved their portrayal.
Damon.
Damon, damn it. Yep,
We
sorry.
even wrote it wrong. We saw it earlier. Like, we're not going to tell him.
Fuck. I did.
I was like, I don't think she saw Aemon.
Right?
That would have been a bigger
And
deal.
I'm like, did I miss something?
I feel like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's a totally different episode.
Rhaenyra and Damon's confrontation. I appreciated their both of their performance, but their specifically Emma Darcy's. She was that Darcy.
They.
I did say they.
Character-wise,
and I was saying
Yes.
Rhaenyra. She showed the actual of what I shouldn't say sane, but of sound mind, just very ready to strike wife can do in that situation, and yes, they performed that spectacularly. So, kind of going against my least favorite thing from last episode. So, where did I go? Glenn.
Favorite thing?
Yes, sir.
It just seems like with as much as I hate that Otto got kind of cast out or whatever, I think for the show, for a bunch of chaos that could ensue, I like that Colombian Cole was given the hand, because I think it's just going to be a shit show with those two.
oh, my favorite thing was Otto von Hightower calling Aegon feckless. It was every time it came up, I was like, feck yeah! Yes!
That's a good word.
I just appreciated his $8.50 words. And it's so to the point. He's basically calling him out for, you're an idiot, you're not thinking through this, you're being ambitious, but not in the right way. And it was just, I just liked that whole scene.
Came out as feckless.
And it was feckful. Because Otto fecks around, and he finds out.
He does.
Bailey.
It was such a minor scene, but I really liked the moment between Bela and Jace. It was a good back to, center. This is, we're just having family moments.
Back to reality. Oh. I'm going to piggyback off Luke here and I'm going to expand it. Just Otto. He was my favorite part of all of it. Everybody keeps telling me, don't you think he's like Tywin? I'm like, no. Today, yes. Love him. That's my kind of guy. So, yep. All about it.
He finally blossomed for you.
He did.
All right, we'll wrap up with our house such. I'll go first. I am Ben, aka Sly House McLean. My words are, it's dangerous to drink alone. Take this. House Sigil is 3 black triangles on a red balloon. Final thought, don't really have one. Good episode. Of all the episodes, it was one. But there were
Very
some
insightful.
there were some great there were some standout scenes, and I am interested to see where the story leads. Luke.
I am Lucan of House Blackmead. House words are ours is the drink. Our sigil is an obsidian black chalice and a gold and blue checky background. And final thoughts of, this is a run-of-the-mill season 2, episode 2.
That was my final thought.
House of the Dragon, and I think we're all better for it.
Glenn, go ahead.
So Glenn of House Dog, you miss 99% of the shots you don't take. House Sigil Doggo with a hockey sweater on. Final thought, with
Just
Luke,
lockstep over here.
It's your run-of-the-mill episode where there's a funeral and, rat catchers are killed. And
People walk around.
and
No
they
one lit
talk.
candles though.
No candles.
no candles were lit.
No
And,
candles
I
were
mean,
lit.
we just have seen this time and time
They
again.
didn't make time for the tits and dragons.
I couldn't agree with you more, Glenn.
Abby.
I am Gertie of House Condescension. Our words are we don't quit. Our sigil is a field of white with a raven sitting upon an black pointed chevron. My final thought is I'm over the boo-hooing fucking feckless men, and do something. Make a war or don't. Quit crying about it. Quit feeling sorry about it. Quit whatever. Fight or shut the fuck up.
Feck off.
God, there's so much
Back
war
off.
coming up. There's so much war coming
Oh,
up.
God, yeah. Bailey.
I am Bailey of House Blend. House words are but first, coffee. House Sigil is a mermaid on a field of green. And my final thought is I'm ready for the next episode in about 6 minutes. I want to see where it goes.
All right, with that said, become a Patreon. Learn more at patreon.com/stayimaginary for all the ways you can keep the beer bank full. Check out the podcastthat.com. Support us. Look us up on YouTube under Drawbridge Media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram under at Know and Drink. Send us Digital Raven at Know and Drink on gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. And until next time.
As always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
As always, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
What is this, a Spider-Man meme? As always, I need more caffeine.
As always, winter has came and so did I.
And as always, we will see you again next week. Stay imaginary. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.